On this episode of Doing the Most, we are pairing food with mead.
Homemade brews and various how-tos, everything from mead to roast, bake creation, fermentation, inebriation, doing the most.
A lot of people have reached out asking about food pairings with mead, and so we decided we would do an episode on this. And then it kind of expanded out from there.
It got out of control.
It got way out of control.
That's what happened.
I arrived at David's house at like 8:30-ish,
Yeah.
something like that in the morning, and left around 10, I think.
10 to 11. Yeah.
At night. 10
Yeah.
to 11 at night. So it was a long day.
Mm-hmm.
You did all the cooking. And so I brought 5 bottles of various meads, some from the channel, over to your house, and we spitballed ideas on what we wanted to do to pair these with food. And then I came over that morning, 3 days later, and we cooked.
Yep. All day. For like 8 or 9 hours.
All day. So real quick, walk us through the menu. Go ahead.
Okay, let me remember actually.
It was a long day.
So we did lengua tacos, or tacos de lengua, which if you don't know is cow tongue tacos, basically. Never done that before. It was actually really easy and it was very good.
And you did it again last night.
I did it again last night for a little dinner get-together party thing. So then we did a spicy Katsu chicken Sando, which is
So freaking good.
a Japanese fried chicken sandwich, basically. And then we had a spritzer, which was nice. And then I created this thing based on an Instagram post from one of my friends. They call them chicken fried carrots. And then we had a blueberry galette for dessert, which was also something new. I've done galettes. I've never attempted a blueberry one because of how much liquid is involved with blueberries. But we made it work.
You'll see a little bit later on. It weeped in the oven.
A bit.
So let's jump into food prep. It's not a thing that we do on the channel a lot, and we've got somewhere on the order of 6 hours worth of footage. So
Of just food.
let's hop in. Walk us through it.
You have to buy a tongue, which locally they come frozen from an Asian market.
That's where they're at.
Yeah.
In the ice cream cooler.
In an old ice cream cooler. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So these things are frozen solid. Tongue's really interesting. I had to look at some videos on how to prepare it because I had no idea. What I chose to do was essentially just split the thing down the middle, so it was, you could fold it or wrap it into itself to cook, and then threw it in the pot, simmer it for 4.5 hours. Other than being a little off-putting to probably what most people are used to cooking anyway, it's amazing. Covered it with water, threw in 6 or 8 bay leaves, salt, pepper, an onion. How's it good?
How's it good?
Yeah. How is it?
Strong vegetable flavor. No heat. No heat at all. Kind of leathery though. It's like eating a chili pepper fruit roll-up.
That's why we're gonna boil them. Reconstituted those peppers, put some garlic, salt, pepper, cumin, maybe a couple other things into the blender, blend it all up.
How's that eyeball?
Good, yeah. They're not hot peppers, but whenever that hot liquid jumps right into your retina, it's a good day. Then put that through a sieve and dropped all that red pepper flavor into the boiling water. And that was about 2 hours in. So it's pretty easy. I would recommend trying tongue.
Japanese milk bread. How'd that go?
Not well.
We felt like doing the most. Doing this recipe, it begged for us to bake a fresh loaf of bread in a single day.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It was a failure for sure versus what the expectation was. But it tasted really, really good at the end of the day, and we actually ate the entire loaf.
We did.
During the pairing throughout the evening. It's supposed to be like this nice, fluffy, pillowy bread, and it didn't rise correctly.
At all.
At all. And so it turned into
put it outside in 100-degree Oklahoma heat.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, it was like, nah.
You don't like eggs, correct?
I don't like hard-boiled eggs.
Is it the texture of the white or the texture of the yolk?
The white.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But the yolks, nom.
I mean, I associate the two too closely together, I think, to ever be able to enjoy either one.
Got it.
Yeah, yolks are fine.
I love a good hard-boiled egg.
Oh, so gross.
Eat one right now. You don't have a problem with eggs in things. It's specifically the cooked texture of an egg.
I have a hard-boiled egg.
What about over easy?
It's fine.
Sunny side up.
Yeah. As long as I've got like
Egg
something
salad.
to go with it. No, disgusting. You give me shit about eggs, this dude won't eat a raw carrot, so.
They're weird.
My understanding is one of the ways to do it is by using something called a pongzong. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably definitely not. But it's essentially you start out by making a roux and then adding that to a milk and egg mixture, and then you throw everything together with like the rest of your pretty much typical bread making accoutrements like flour, yeast, salt. So we'll see how it goes. It might fail hard, but some of the videos I watched on making this, they had people who would like take their hand and push all the way down on the loaf, like make it flat, and then take their hand off and it goes poof, and it goes right back to the shape.
In the video, did hers rise like a measurable amount?
Not very much, but it was a little smoother. It kind of smoothed itself out. Maybe I should have like kneaded it a little by hand. I don't know. Oh, you know what's really good? Tapioca starch all over a towel. That is great.
Our third food course, fourth course, was chicken fried carrot balls.
Take carrots, shred them up, which is a huge pain. I would have rather shredded like an entire block of cheese than shred those carrots.
And you prefer to shred them on the box grater versus putting them through a food processor, yeah?
Yes, because I wanted them to be basically like just little tiny thin pieces so I could manipulate them and like form them into a ball.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is peeling carrots.
Wow, tell us more.
You take a peeler and you run it along the side and don't hit your hand. And look,
It's a peeled carrot.
a peeled carrot. Now we have two.
Wow. Okay, so this is a recipe that you've mostly concocted yourself.
Correct. So essentially what we're doing is we're going to mix up some salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and carrots. I will come up with measurements for a recipe, but honestly, since I've only made it once, this is still kind of messing around. What we're gonna do, we're gonna mix all that together with the tapioca and the powders, salt, pepper. We're gonna turn those into little balls and then double batter each one, just like you would traditionally do for like a chicken fried steak. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I'm just gonna get in there and get all nasty.
Just shred the carrots, throw it into a bowl, put some spices in it. Basically, you just, form into balls. I did a double breading, put them in the refrigerator for, I don't know, maybe like an hour. And then you drop them in some oil at about 350-ish for 7-ish minutes.
Galette's a fancy name for a lazy pie.
It is. It's great. It's a rustic, old school pie.
It was a simple pie dough recipe.
Yeah, which we'll have it down there. I'm not going to go into it. Throw it into your food processor and let it combine. It's pretty easy. How do we keep this from becoming just a puddle?
Yeah.
And so we added a bunch of tapioca.
Yeah, it was
like
2 or 3 tablespoons.
Yeah. It was basically like a gummy consistency by the time they
Which is what you want. Because
Yes.
the tapioca flour, it's a starch. Like the same thing that's in like boba tea.
Right.
It's like, the idea was that it would soak up the liquid and create like a jammy situation.
Which it did.
It totally did. I don't normally care for lemony desserts, but the lemon zest just added that like zing, just like that fine edge onto it, that complement. Like it lifted up the blueberries.
Yeah.
It didn't taste like lemon. It tasted like elevated blueberries. It was really nice.
Lemon zest is kind of, it's almost like salt for fruit dishes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean,
I'm learning that.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a lemon zest evangelist.
you just can't overdo it.
Right.
Because if you overdo it, that's all you're going to taste.
Pine all.
Yeah.
This goes into a 400-degree oven for between 45 minutes and an hour. Just watch your crust. I mean, and if you can make this with any fruit. I usually make it with apples.
With the lengua tacos, we paired a maple mead, but we did something unique with it.
We did.
I want to insert here like a flashback to that time we accidentally tasted it.
It was so bad.
Yeah, we didn't put this one on the channel because we thought it was gonna turn out weird, and it did turn out weird.
I still hate it. Like on its own, I still hate.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible. I tried some on the stream the other day, and I couldn't. One part tequila, 1 part sweet and sour. We made homemade sweet and sour. And then probably 2 to 3 parts of the maple pecan mead.
Yeah. Basically, we just put everything in there and then topped it with the mead.
Easy enough? So tell us about, you and Sean seem to really like this mead straight out of the bottle.
This we think is like just awful. So
I mean, it's pretty sweet on its own, but it's nowhere near as bad as you all made it seem like it was going to be.
I don't know how those guys. I mean, it was the first thing that they tried whenever they walked through the door. So I was like, maybe they're just being nice. Because I was like, this is really bad. And they're like, no, it's actually not.
It smells good and it's definitely not offensive.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, I think that's...
Well, I'll drink that. I will drink the rest of that.
You like that?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
You know the bitter note of honey, like after
That's
you have
not
like
bad.
the sweet part, and you just have that like that floral bitterness. Now it's not something like I would want to like drink a full bottle of, but it's not like
It's not bad.
Okay, well, I was expecting...
You know what'd be interesting?
It is...
It's
So in the beginning song for the YouTube channel, it talks about how we make everything from mead to roast. Multiple people have pointed out over the last year that we've never made a video about roast. So I texted and was like, I think we need to do something that's roast. To fall in line with the theme song so people stop talking about it. Tell us what you thought about this drink and this food. Clearly you like the food.
Yes. It's delicious. I eat it out of a box.
That might end up being the title of this video.
Out of a box. Thanks.
I mean, it's good. I think you can't go wrong with lengua. I think so many people think when they hear tongue and they're like, I'm eating a tongue, but it's just such a versatile meat. I mean, it breaks down very well. It just has a good chew to it, almost like you're doing a roast. We were talking about that one. So it pairs with whatever you're doing. I was talking about the pickled onions and with the sweetness of the corn. It just has that sweetness and then that acidic, vibrant nature into it. It's gone. I wouldn't want to drink a full bottle of it, but you can definitely tell what you could do with it to like make it pair.
let's say we gave you like a bunch of bottles of
Yeah.
it. How would you use it? Like just off the top of your head?
I think I would kind of treat it like a ginger beer. Like I'd pair it, like, so right now we have it in a margarita form. So like adding a little tequila in there.
I almost think it might be interesting to make like a riff on a Manhattan. So it's basically it's a Manhattan, but you add, a part of this to it.
Yeah. You have to change a lot, but almost like an old-fashioned Manhattan, those kind of things.
Yeah.
What Charlie is experiencing right now is the overcarbonation.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
But I think you can still pair it with so many things. What's the harsh liquor that you don't want to drink by yourself?
Oozing.
Put it with something else.
Kraken.
It'd be good. Oh, not the Kraken. No. I wouldn't put a spice rum in there, but I mean a hard whiskey or something like that. I think you'd be real good.
Goodness, yeah, that is a lot of carbonation.
It keeps creeping up there. I'm like, I'm a burp. Oh.
Yeah, but
Fizzy lifting drink.
It's very Charlie and the Chocolate Factory over here.
as this, it is good. I still don't like it out of the bottle. They love it.
It's
apparently,
fine.
but
Yeah.
if it weren't for the fact that we were going to be consuming a bunch of other beverages that night, I probably would have had a second margarita.
Yeah.
As a pairing with tacos, obviously. I guess you don't really put maple with tacos.
Here's the thing, it works.
I'm really glad that y'all tried it before trying the cocktail, because it definitely gives you the dichotomy.
Yeah. The lime juice helps too. That little fresh lime.
All right, you got some chicken to fry.
I do.
Our next course after that was the chicken sandwiches.
Yes.
Chicken Katsu Sando. Am I saying that correctly?
Spicy chicken Katsu Sando. There we
Okay. We had tried to do the milk bread. That failed, so we went with brioche. And we paired that with the crispy honey-flavored hydromel.
Which is our favorite.
Literally.
That's what we drink all the time now.
I've got 10 gallons brewing right there. I love it because there are a lot of people out there that are not only brewing this recipe, but like sending me their riffs on it, which I think is amazing. I'm just hoping somebody out there does a hopped version, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel on that. This with the spicy chicken sandwich was, I mean, I could probably eat that 5 days out of the week.
Yeah, it's really good. And I mean, it's pretty easy to see why that would be a good pairing. I mean, this is slightly sweet, that's slightly spicy, slightly salty.
This has got a crispness to it, whereas that's got like a fatty richness to it.
Yeah.
And so like, they just, that back and forth was phenomenal.
You know what would be good with this? Like that balsamic, that balsamic reduction.
Balsamic glaze.
That's exactly what it
Just
is.
balsamic vinegar, period.
Any dipping, whatever. This is like the best accidental.
This is
Like-
good bread, man.
Yeah, like you go to, you know when they bring you out the bread.
It's really good. It tastes good, but it's supposed to be like this tall and like fluffy, like really.
It does have some nice like striation.
Yeah, it's very layered.
Watch this. He's going to very much enjoy this.
Is it good?
Yeah, eat
I
it.
would finish.
Olive oil and vinegar on some decent bread. It's not what it was supposed to be.
Not what you wanted.
You landed the plane.
Yeah, it
You
was.
may have lost the landing gear.
But you found a way to, like, the adjustments. This bread was not how you wanted it to come out. The adjustments.
This bread is way better than the meat.
And we went with chicken thighs.
Yeah. I've traditionally kind of just stuck with breast just because that's easy. I know what it is, blah, blah, blah. I've cooked with thighs for a long time, but I've just kind of recently started doing those sandwiches. I do a Nashville hot chicken that I use thighs with. Basically, if you're going to make like a sandwich, I suggest using thigh meat. It's just better. It's got more flavor.
Well, and it's forgiving.
Yes.
That's the thing I like about it, like grilling. Sometimes you get caught up preparing a side dish or whatever, and the chicken sits for a little too long. It's forgiving.
Which is great for frying. I mean, if you're going to fry chicken, thighs are amazing for that.
Yeah.
This is nice. You just get like a tiny bit of burn, and then you still catch some of the subtleties within the hydromel.
There's a lot of nuance to the hydromel, and I'm kind of happy with that. I got this.
That's closer to how they would be presented in Japan traditionally.
And this was the first time that both Charlie and Sean tried the hydromel.
Yeah.
And they seemed to enjoy it.
I think so.
I loved it.
I did too.
So Sean, what's your typical beer of choice?
Bud Light.
Bud Light. So as a Bud Light guy, would you consider this to be a decent introduction into the world of mead?
Yeah. I'm not an alcohol person, so.
You like beer.
Oh, yeah.
You drink beer. You don't drink like whiskey and...
No.
Yeah.
I'm seriously just drink beer and that's about it. This is something I could drink just any time.
So after the first two courses, we determined that it was time to let our mouths relax.
And to achieve that, we decided we should drink more alcohol.
We decided to take one of the most heavy-bodied things that we've brewed and just wash all that down. Fresh mint from the garden, little club soda, nice heavy pour of the Viking blood clone for a nice hibiscus punch to the face.
It was good.
You wouldn't want to write home about it, but you're also not disappointed by it.
No,
right?
I mean it's basically a spritzer.
So there's a fairly robust hibiscus flavor. It's
It is a lot of hibiscus, which I'm a fan of hibiscus. Like if I see hibiscus on the menu, that's typically the drink I'll order. I don't know what it is about floral hibiscus or something.
It was nice. It was lovely, and the boys wanted to try the Viking blood clone on its own, unmixed,
Which they did.
Which they did.
So you know when you get a stronger red wine and it has the alcohol content is like pungent. It tastes like the stronger red wine without the strong alcohol content that it's
Interesting. I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Like I'm feeling it definitely suck a lot of the moisture out of my face.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's got a lot of hibiscus.
which I like. It's like I'm drinking a dark, strong red wine, but then it doesn't have that ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
but it still has a nice, like, not burn, but there's warmth going down.
Yeah.
And it's wow. Like going back to this one now, that it's on ice.
This is refreshing. Like, what I just did before.
And then I grabbed this one and I was like,
I just went to the Powerade of
More of a palate cleanser.
yes.
and part of that is the mint, but it just is it club soda?
Yeah.
Like yeah. I could drink both of those, but you would definitely just need a little, like a one finger whiskey pour of that one.
A couple of good ice cubes in there, and
Yeah.
the fact that I'm still drinking it is enough for me.
Yep. It's an interesting little thing.
So we moved from the palate cleanser onto the chicken fried carrot balls, which we paired with the Lucky Charms meadowfoam honey stout. It's about a year old, I think, at this point.
Yeah,
It's been in the bottle for a while.
Well, thank God, because there's a video of us tasting that for the first time, and it tasted like an ashtray.
But it has come into its own. This is brewed in the style of a stout.
Yeah, that looks like a stout.
So I'm not going to expect you to drink all this, but it's to be paired with this.
Okay.
For those of you watching at home, Charlie does not want to drink this.
So let me tell you, I am what we call a beer baby, where like I have to do a little coaxing into these things, but I'm willing to try everything.
See, that's what I appreciate about you. So this is
John drank a Guinness the other day with me.
You drank a Guinness? Did you chew it?
dark liquid malt extract. Also, it's got meadowfoam honey, which is very expensive honey, and then a whole box of marshmallows from Lucky Charms. And this tasted like absolute dog the first time we tried it. I feel like it's gotten better over time.
I have a really good shot from Instagram. You can just throw it up.
There it is. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah! Nice.
Not a lot of times I drink things darker than me, so nowhere near what I thought it was going to be.
Not at all what I was expecting either.
No.
it tastes different than it looks.
Yeah, definitely.
Tastes like it should be a shade lighter.
Like,
Or
I
several
expected-
shades lighter.
Yeah, I expected to drink it and then it still go.
Yeah.
It's dark in color, but it almost drinks like an ale, just like a classic pub ale. That's kind of how it drinks to me.
It paired really well
It did actually.
in like an interplay kind of way. Again, it was one of those you want to go back and forth.
Right.
And I think that was the real clutch thing about the pairings we did, is so much of it was that like you want to experience them back and forth rather than like eat the thing, drink the drink.
Yeah.
And I think that was the real magic of the menu that we cobbled together.
It plays nicely against this. I think so too. I'm tasting is that a sriracha mayo?
Yeah.
Okay. That note in there,
Yeah.
that slight sweetness that I'm almost missing, works back and forth. I don't know if this is after this or after this, and I think it's after this.
Oh, well, hold on. You gotta take a drink of that and then do that again.
Are you pairing alcohol with alcohol
I
right
think
now?
so. It's so.
What is
Should we be brewing stout with hibiscus now?
Hold on.
Oh yeah, you still
Not together, but it's just like they're like cool friends.
Our final course was a dessert course. We went with the blueberry galette paired with the like fruit bomb Malbec style blueberry mead.
Which is very good by itself, by the way.
Love it. We knew, because we've had this a few times, we knew that it's rich and earthy and oaky and astringent. There's just that touch of sweetness, but the sweetness is really only there to round it out. And so we paired that with something a little bit opposite in the flavor profile.
Yeah, so the galette, I mean, we were using, you know, like raw, unprocessed blueberries. Very little sugar, actually, compared to what you would likely want to put in a dessert. That was intentional because we didn't want the sweetness to throw off the mead.
No.
Imagine eating ice cream with a Malbec. I mean, that's not going to be very tasty. They really, really went well together. I mean, it's the same thing 2 different ways. So it worked.
That's a good way of putting it. The flavor profile you were able to create with that galette filling compared against the flavor profile of this very rich, very heavy-bodied mead complemented so well.
Are they stems or stemless?
Stems.
I don't want stems. I want them to be able to heat it up.
Okay.
What the hell does that mean?
Like wine, you're supposed to hold from stem so it won't heat up the glass when you touch it.
Ah.
He wants it to heat up. I didn't know that was a thing until someone told me.
So this was made with a lot of blueberries.
I'm not a huge blueberry person.
Me either.
I like that.
There's a little bit of lemon zest in there.
Okay.
I think the sweetness level is actually really nice. It's about, like, after everything we've had tonight, the last thing I would want is a sugar bomb right now.
How do you feel about the...
It's good. The first time I took a sip, I was like, oh, good. And then I was like, oh, there's that bitter kick in. But it was a good, it's a good way to end this.
Mm-hmm.
This one is let's sip and talk now with this.
Yep.
I'm noticing that this glass is sideways.
No, yeah, no, so like they're handmade in perfect glasses.
Several of the criticisms we got on this one were that I was going to over oak it.
I think I actually mentioned that at one point whenever you were making it. I'm like, that's a lot of oak.
It was like a half a pound of oak for a year. I like it. I think
I think it's really good.
it gives it that's kind of nice.
It's very smooth. It's easy to drink.
What's your favorite kind of wine, Sean?
Riesling?
What box does it come out of?
You say that in the background. There's a
There's the black box.
Hey, house wine is house wine, okay? That's all I gotta say. If you want to spend $40 a night on a bottle of wine, then be my guest.
Or you can homebrew your own, and it won't cost you $40 a bottle.
It'll just take you 2 years to get it done. I only met you a year and a half ago, but you already knew 2 years ago that this was going to happen. I appreciate that. I ate it all, and it was great.
Well, everyone's taking some home if you like it.
So overall, how did you feel this experiment went?
It went well as an experiment. There would be things, I think, in the future, because we've talked about this, doing more content like this.
Yeah.
Probably not going to do an 8-hour cooking day. I'm not the fittest person in the world right now at this point in my life.
I mean, it's quarantine, right?
My
none of
feet
us are.
and back, like, the next morning, we're not having it.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of work. I mean, I have much respect for chefs or anyone who works in a restaurant for 8 hours at a time.
Absolutely. I think we learned a lot.
Yeah.
I think we learned a lot about mead pairings.
Yeah.
Because, again, we knew kind of how to equate a lot of these things, but really doing the legwork to try and figure out what foods are going to play well, because we didn't want any flops about this, because that would have been a real bummer on the evening. I think we developed a pretty good flow of a menu, which you've got a lot of experience doing, but I sure as hell don't. I think that went pretty well. And I'm curious for them out there to drop a comment and let us know what you would like to see. I guess for one, if they'd like to see more of this kind of content, because folks have asked for it. Now that you've gotten it, what do you think? And what kinds of foods or what kinds of meads? Probably not this lime green situation, but what kinds of things would you like to see us cook and pair? And of course, our website is dointhemost.org, and I just recently updated it, so it's actually fresh right now. And you can follow us on Instagram and Pinterest at Doin the Most OK. Thank you for watching. Until next time, happy brewing. Stay safe.
Cheers.